Mr. Jason.
Hello, Mr. Craig.
Well, now that you're 100, do you feel older?
Yes. Dude, I can't believe we forgot to mention the 100 episodes on the 100.
Well, guess what? Now
What?
we have more than 100. And
That's
guess
right.
who we've got?
Who do we have, Mr. Craig? Can you tell me, please?
I'd be happy to. It's social, savage, slick Sellin with Nicholas Sakha. We gonna get you, sucker.
What, sucker? What?
Look, I said we gonna get you, sucker.
Sucker who?
Sucker fool.
Buckle up, it's the Insurance Dudes Podcast.
Let's do this again. Yes, what's up? Welcome to the Insurance Dude. I'm Nicholas.
What's up, guys? I should
What is
probably
up?
park.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, brothers. How are you guys?
Good. You look sharp.
Did you
I
notice
should probably park for this, huh?
it doesn't
You
matter.
should probably park for it.
Yeah. All right, give me a moment. How are you guys?
Did you feel like no matter what objection you gave that you weren't going to get out of this?
Yeah, I kind of felt that. Makes you a really good salesperson.
We were,
He closed you.
we were putting our heads together on how to overcome all the objections.
You assume the close. That's for sure.
Well, you put yourself in a corner by making the objection. What was it? What was the last one? Oh, I haven't. It was the time. So you only had time until the next. You only had 20 minutes. And we said, well, that's perfect. Great.
Boom.
Let's do this.
Where are you guys at? Is that your office studio?
Yeah, this is my office, and then that's Jason's office. So I'm in Tucson, Arizona. Jason is in
Huntington Beach.
beautiful Huntington Beach, where I'd rather be.
Jason,
That's
it's
right.
crazy that we started together. Like, you're in our group photo in Chicago.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. So I still talk to I talk to you every once in a while now. And then Dave. I still talk to Dave.
Dave,
David Rodmacher?
oh, I don't think I remember him. Dave.
He was pretty outspoken.
Okay.
Skinny dude. Kind of outspoken.
I've got to look. We've got to look at that photo and see the last who remains.
Yeah.
There you go. 25%. So, hey, Nick, we've talked a little bit on the phone and starting to get to know each other. Obviously, you know Jason, but what brought you to this world?
The insurance
The
world?
insurance world.
Yeah.
Yes.
What made you an insurance?
Not this world as in planet
Yeah,
Earth.
we know how that works. It's male chromosome and a female.
Well, my parents met, and my dad had a lot of charm. No, I'm just kidding. But, no, the insurance world. So I was in banking and trying to finish my degree. I was in banking for a U.S. bank. I was there for about 7 years, but I hated it. I hated like the corporate structure, corporate America. And after, as soon as I got that degree and U.S. Bank, pretty much helped me get it, I quit. And I was kind of moving on up the corporate ladder, but I hated it. I just hate like corporate structure. Like even now when I walk into like a corporate building, like I just want to throw up because I hate that. I hate the vibe, And so I quit to go work. I was in business banking at the time. So I went to go work with a business customer of mine, and I fell flat on my face there. I mean, talk about like cold sales. I was like going business to business, trying to sell mobile app technology. Hey,
dang.
your business. I noticed you guys don't have an app. There's a business owner available. And that was hard as shit. So
Yeah.
So even then, just because of that, I don't allow like any excuses for my staff, right? But I did that, so flat on my face, lost like the rest of my money, and I found myself literally just with my 401k and one of my best friends, William Duran, he was an agent for about a year and a half, 2 years, and he just, I remember it was his sister's birthday, and they invited me, and they went to go play Top Golf, and I literally had no money, and so I was in my head, I'm like, man, this will be the first birthday of Maddie's that I've ever missed. And in my mind, I'm calculating like, Top Golf's like at least $60. I can't afford that. So I'm like, hey guys, I can't make it, And so he told me he was already a year into his agency, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And he's like, just come, I got you. And I didn't even like that, but I was like, all right, fine. So I went, I'm having a beer, and he's like, you should open up an agency. And I was like, well, I never really had management experience, so I don't know if I can do that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you'll be fine. Like, I know you'll be fine, and you should do it. And at this point, like, literally, I'm like, I had no choice. So I just decided to do it. I just took a leap, and I was like, all right, fuck it. And I'm glad I did, because it all worked out. I mean, we're scaling right now. We're doing our best, and now 3 years later, it's been fun.
We skipped the first question.
And we did skip the first question. We're going to go back to that. But what was the first concert you ever went to?
The first concert? Oh shit. Dang. I can't remember, but there's a Christian rock band named Red, and they don't even sound like Christian music, right? Like Christian rock, and they kind of sound like Linkin Park, but cooler. And I remember
nice.
And I went to this, like, they were smaller back then, but I went to this like local church that they were performing, and now they're big. Now they do like concerts at Hard Rock and stuff like that. But I think that was my first concert.
Nice.
That's awesome. Hey, Graham Botma, same thing. Christian artist, and actually, I used to play in Christian bands growing up. That's where. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, give them a listen. Red Music, they're sick.
I've seen them around. Yeah, I'll definitely check them out. I love like Switchfoot, and then I like POD and all those old bands.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. Hey, so now going back to what we were talking about, the one cool thing I like about seeing you on Facebook and everything is you really use social media, probably more than any other insurance agent I know.
Really good video.
How does that play into your marketing strategy, and tell us the results from that?
Yeah, so I remember in training, right? They're like, what is your marketing strategy? And I was like, social media. I was like the only one. I was like, I'm going to use this thing. And if people go to social media to escape, right? Like, they don't go to get sold, but everybody on there is selling. So you got to kind of market yourself in a way that people don't really feel like they're being sold, i.e. make them laugh, make them connect with you. Think about like the Kardashians, right? These girls have their TV show, and the whole TV show is about their life and how they're going to launch these businesses to sell you stuff. And then now they're selling every single one of their products, and they're like the best at, the makeup industry or whatever it is. But they show that kind of real life aspect about them. So I don't know. I've always known that, and maybe I just listen to Gary Vaynerchuk a lot, and kind of gravitated towards that. But I grew up in it, so I always found it as a good tool. Like, I remember MySpace days where like I decked out a page, and when you went to my page, it was like music. The music would start. You'd have your own little background, and you deck it out how you wanted. It's just a good tool to get business. There's so much business from there. And just, it's really worked for us. So yeah, I'm on that thing. I make my staff post weekly, daily, and, you know, we share content and just kind of, I don't know, just show your life. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, you got to mix it together. And I know that's hard for some people. But when you can mix it together to where, like, you know, it doesn't really seem like you're selling, you're just being yourself. It works. So.
Yeah. It used to be, in the olden days, it used to be there was work and there was your personal life. And especially in the life of the entrepreneur, which is all of us, there's a blend, you know, and showing what you do personally helps facilitate you being a human, not just some corporate bullshit, you know, that people can't relate with. And that's for the same reason that you and I and Jason, if we walk into a corporate building, we're like, bleh. I mean, that's most people. Most people don't want to live that situation. It's the worst. If a business has an HR department, it's like, oh boy, right? It's just take away the fun department. So
I think the greatest person to use social media right now, and if you look at his Instagram, look at The Rock, okay? The Rock is probably the best at selling everybody without making it seem like he's selling you. If you pull up his Instagram right now, his last 10 to 15 posts, he's selling you on something. The new Jumanji movie just came out. Thank you for making it the #1 movie in the world. I'm coming out with my own tequila coming out in March. You know, cheers to the new Jumanji movie. You know, and I'm sipping me, Jack Black, and Kevin Hart are all sipping my new Terramana tequila coming out in March. And then now he's promoting his new movie, right? He's going to be a DC character. I don't know, the Black Adams or something like that. And so now he's promoting that, and he's building up anticipation for that. And then he's selling you on Under Armour and, you know, and his shoes. And then, I'm sponsored by Voss Water. And so, like, every single one of his posts, there's a strategy behind it. He's not just posting the post. He's doing it, you know, he's selling you without even, you know, and then people are buying into it. They're not even realizing that they're being sold. And so if you want to, like, really see somebody who's exceptional at that, look up The Rock and just see how he does that, how he strategically posts.
Well, the whole thing is developing rapport with the audience, right? And in sales, rapport is 50%, 40% of the sale, right? Most people want to jump to the sale, especially when you're young. You're rushing to try to close, and then you're overcoming objections. And, you know, like the Cardone method is, you know, bam, hammer him, woo. And it's like, no, dude, you got to connect, right? Connect with them. And what better way than to have some fun? I mean, if you're creative, and all three of us are pretty creative, you know, I love using my right brain and coming up with goofy graphics and all that. That's fun, you know, coming up with something that people will connect and resonate with. And then it also has your personal touch to it. Like your movies are exceptional. Like they're so fun.
So good.
You know, I love them. And, you know, anybody who doesn't know you or hasn't seen them, they've got to become friends with you, or at least follow your agency on Facebook. We'll put a link to your agency page in the show notes, but I mean, they're hilarious. You know, they're just great, really good, really well done.
I appreciate.
Do you get a lot of response from those?
I do. I'm just now getting to, like, I just hired somebody to really kind of track the analytics and stuff like that, because that is something that I wasn't really like doing. I was just putting out content, but so I'm going to really find out what the conversion rate and how many, you know, all that, how that's really going to, you know, how that really looks. But I just know, just logically thinking that everyone gravitates towards it. Like, if everyone thinks about me in the topic of insurance, then I won, you know, because they're gonna reach out to me when it comes when the rate goes up, or when, you know, they're, you know, and you know what, another thing it also does too is I don't know about you guys, but in our market, like everyone in Vegas, if you're in insurance, you know each other. And so it also has helped with like attracting a few good candidates, like, because people say like, you know, I've seen your offices, I've seen your agencies, and I've seen you guys around, and so people, when something doesn't work out with like a staff for you know, somebody at State Farm or something like that, they end up, you know, kind of reaching out to me. So it kind of works. It's like a double-edged sword, actually. So it's really awesome.
Dude, it makes you the expert, right?
Yeah.
If they think of insurance, your name comes up. It's amazing.
And that's the goal. I just want everyone to think about me as it relates to insurance. If they need a quote, if they, you know, whatever that might be. And you've got like Geico's and Progressive. I'll be honest. If I'm being honest, Geico and Progressive have funnier commercials than we do. I think so. Especially Geico. I think their commercials are funnier than ours. And so I feel like I've got to make something to kind of combat that. Otherwise, they're not going to reach out to me or my agency.
Right. Well, go ahead, man.
And I think there's another thing that's happening too. Like, talk about like the cult, because I can tell you have a killer culture in your office. Tell us do those videos bring together kind of your staff and everything when you do those?
It does because it's different. Like, you know, if we sit down and we're like, hey guys, we need to create something, and I don't waste any time. Like, we come up with a couple ideas. I'm like, all right, let's do it now. We're not just going to sit on this idea.
Right.
So you also got to kind of pay attention to what's relevant and what's trending, right? You know, so that video of the girl getting accepted into the college, and then it kind of went viral where everyone was making a video with that. And then the dad's like, no way. Well, that's our most recent video. And what I'm most proud about in that video, because that one was a hit. I mean, people absolutely loved that one. And it made them laugh. Was that I had nothing to do with that one. And so my staff just did that. And
wow,
that was one of the first videos that they just executed. I wasn't even at that office. I was at my other office, and then they rolled out with it, and I was just like, oh my God.
You're like, you have tears coming down.
Yeah, I'm so proud. So yeah, it's whatever's like, and you're going to know what's relevant, what's like trending. And, you know, just take a look at what's on your feed, and you're going to see what people are posting, whether it's Salt Bay or whether it's, you know, there's so many different, you know, memes or
the lady with the cat thing, you know, like that was huge for a long, and it still creeps in every now and then, a different version, right?
But if I were to make it like right now, it wouldn't be as powerful as when it was first trending.
Right.
So
right.
So, and it's so easy to tweak it to your industry. I mean, sometimes it's like, okay, that wasn't funny, and sometimes it's like, damn, you know, but you've got to play the content game, because people go on social media to escape. And that's why there's a new app called TikTok, where like the young people are
TikTok.
It's like the modern day Vine.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
And people go on there because it's like escapism, you know? So you got to figure out kind of how to, you know, blend in with that without making people feel like they're being sold, you know? It's like there's a weird science to it. So
make them like you.
Yeah.
So I remember another thing. So when you started, I remember thinking you were starting in Vegas, and I remember people saying like, "Oh, that's a tough market." And so, generally speaking, it's a pretty tough market, right? Just Nevada in general.
Dude, Nevada, no. Vegas, yes, because there's lawyers galore out here. So our uninsured, underinsured is through the roof. I mean, there's a billboard for a lawyer on every block.
The worst.
Yeah.
So what have you learned in the last 3 years? Because it's been 3 years. Congrats.
Wow.
Thanks.
In the last 3 years, what have you learned? What would you do differently? And what has worked the best for you?
I think what I do, I mean, and I listen to your guys' podcast, and one thing that I would totally do differently was with my second office. I was so conservative with the beginning of my ECP contract. Like I was still buying like the same amount of leads and not really like 10xing per se. I was just playing it conservative. So that was if I could go back again, or maybe I get a third office or something like that. Maybe I go in with bigger balls, I guess you could say. But I mean, we're doing good. We're doing good by any means. We're still doing good. But I think I would have upped that a little bit. But as far as what I do differently is I mean, it's hard to say because hindsight's always 20/20. But I would have definitely
bought the Tesla sooner.
Right? I would have gotten around. I would have maybe, your podcast I don't think was around back then, but I would have maybe further educated myself on everything. I would have got around, the ASAs, the Craig Wiggins, I would have gotten around more of that, early on to like expedite my development, because I kind of, looking back, it all worked out perfectly and it's still working out perfectly, but I think I would have seeked more mentorship early on outside of Vegas.
Mentorship. So more training and hiring.
Yeah.
How's the hiring?
Hiring is what I take pride in is I don't really get too much turnover, unless, and I think that has to do with the culture. I'm so big on vibes that, and it's obvious whenever there's a conflict in your office, and so I address it right away. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, because I don't let nothing linger. We're not going to brush anything under the rug. We're going to address it, whatever's going on right away. And hiring has been good. I've been able to retain a lot of people. Now, but it's never ending, man. It's never ending. Like I thought I had both my offices ready to go, and then some changes needed to happen, and one office is in a rebuilding stage, and I'm still hiring, still training, coaching, developing, and trying to build some strong leaders within my office because it's impossible to scale without them.
Yep. And that's why we always follow that structure: the hire, train, motivate, and make it rain. I love that. Love that. Tolga, man. Tolga.
Yeah. Agency Zoom.
Yep.
Shout out Agency Zoom.
It's funny that you say that about, I don't, as far as investing enough right up front, I don't think that anyone, even the ones that have 10x'd it, right? I don't think anyone says that they wouldn't have gone harder. You know what I mean? Like you go 50 people deep and it's still could have done 60. Could have done 60.
Yeah, exactly. But it's always, it's yeah. It's always in retrospect, it's like when you're going through it, it's one thing, but a completely different other thing once
you're looking at those numbers, and when you're spending 600, 700, 800, $1,000 on leads every day, woo, it starts adding up quick, and you can get nervous because you're like, wow, the self-doubt comes in, right? The doubt comes in. You're like, but what if this happens? But what if this happens? Instead of thinking what will happen, which is if you're buying those leads and you have the right process, you're going to close them and you're going to get results. It just happens, We turned off our lead. I got a little nervous a few weeks ago, turned off leads. And then we saw 3 weeks later, you see the little dip because you turned them off 3 weeks ago. It's like, why'd I do that? And so just got to keep grinding.
Yeah, man. And it's to back on that question, what you do differently, everything seems to work out how it was supposed to, I don't think I could have a conversation with myself 3 years ago, and tell myself everything I should be doing. And I wouldn't, I don't know if I'd do it any differently, but one thing's for sure. It's I think it's important to invest in yourself. Dave Williams, everybody knows Dave.
Mm-hmm.
He what I'm so inspired about by him is he he invests in his self-development so much. Like, he's constantly going to, I've seen him at all sorts of events, and he really keeps investing in himself, and that's the only way that, you know, and look at his success, you know, look how far, look how far he's come. And I think it's because he continued to get around like the right people and
yeah,
and soak up podcasts like this one, you know?
Yeah. Well, thank you, my man. Well, cool.
I know that this is going to be a quick one. So before we go, what's the one piece of advice that you give to any insurance agent starting? The one golden nugget.
I mean, we kind of talked about it, but social media, man, like if you're not creative and if you're not good at it, then hire somebody to manage your social media. But you've got to put out content or you'll become irrelevant in this modern, like, I know for a fact that like older agents hate my guts because, you know, like I'm the one that they're thinking about, you know, as far as from a marketing standpoint. So social media is just not going to go anywhere. And, you know, it's just so important. So it's helped me tremendously. I mean, it's carried on over to my staff as well. Look, and if you have staff, I know for a fact that every single one of your employees are swiping their timeline. They're scrolling all day long. And and so I tell them, hey, stop being a consumer on social media and start becoming a producer. Produce content, post. Like, I get on them. I'm friends. They all follow me. They all watch my stuff. If I post something, sometimes I watch just to see how quickly they watch whatever I posted. So I'm like, oh, so you're on social media all day, huh? So if they're going to be on it, they need to be a producer. They need to produce content and post content so that way people can also think about them and the topic of insurance and not just, you know, if your employees are all on it anyway, whether you like it or not,
right.
You might as well get them to post and to get business from it.
Love it. I love it. That's totally the opposite. I think that a lot of people would say, yeah, get off your phone.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
I think everyone's on their phone no matter what.
No matter
whether
what.
we like it or not. If you got two options, if you're not at the same place, like, and you're you know, it is what it is. So
yeah,
there you go, man. Well, you have an interview right now, huh?
Yeah.
Go do it. Thank you so much, Nick. Good catching up with you.
I'm honored to be on. I always listen to you guys, so you know, I really appreciate it. And
that's
you know,
awesome.
Keep doing what you guys are doing. Like, I get so much value from the guests that you guys have on the show. You know, and I think I've told you guys a couple times just through message, but you know, if I get to tell you in person, you know, keep doing what you're doing because it makes a difference. Like, the perspective I get, the value I get from you guys is huge, and I implement things all the time that I'm learning from your guys' podcast.
We're blessed to meet the people we get to meet.
Yeah, that's why we do it. It's like we just learn.
Well, thank you, brother.
I'll see you guys in person soon.
Yeah,
you
for
got
sure.
It, bud.
We'll see you. There may be an event.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you.
All right.
Hey, you've got to check out the Insurance Dudes Inner Circle coming soon, where you get extended interviews as well as live coffee talks in our private Facebook group. Join the mailing list today at theinsurancedudespodcast.com. Hey, thanks for checking out The Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.